My name is April, and as you all know, my spirits and I together, we are called Astré Astoundance. Welcome to the Conspiracies Podcast. Today we're talking about the missing person named Celeste, who's been romantically linked to David Anthony Burke. He's an Aries. Celeste is a Virgo. I believe her name is Celeste Rivas. She's from Lake Elsinore. She was reported missing, I think, back in early April of 2024. They had found her body dismembered in the back of David Anthony Burke's car. It was registered in his name in his Tesla, and I guess it was in a tow yard, something like this. And there was reports of a horrific smell coming from this car, and so the police came out, investigated, and found this girl's body, which was identified as Celeste's body, unfortunately. So, I can't even imagine how her family feels. So my heart and my prayer goes out to the family who actually genuinely loved Celeste. And what's really interesting is I was recording this and we finished the recording. We went back to the recording. We had to re-record because 10 minutes of my recording was missing from the actual original recording. So we're doing like a part 2. So I'm going to kind of rush through this a bit. Hopefully I don't miss anything from the original recording, but we couldn't figure out why that 10-minute clip was silent in the recording, which the only thing I could think of was the spirits were interrupting. Something was interrupting the recording. And we've never had that in the history of recording here at Astré Astoundance for Conspiracies Podcast. So I was like, okay. So clearly we were being visited by a soul. So I'm presuming it's Celeste. And I thought, do you not want me to record this? And the message I got was, no, please. So I believe there's a very powerful message that's coming through for her. But I do want to bring up a timeline. Something really stands out in the month of August for me with her. I do know that I was dreaming about her last night. And that's what kind of led me to record this. And oftentimes when I do recordings, it's because I'm either getting like remote view or visions, or I can overhear conversations as I remotely view. It's called remote auditory, where I can hear previous conversations that carry an energetic signature, is what I like to call it, that encapsulates the moment of what was going on emotionally with that person before they passed prior to exit point, and so on. Okay. So in this case, I was dreaming about this girl last night. I could see her photo. And when I had seen her photo, I felt looking into her eyes that you are not in control. He's in control. And that's something that I felt like I was owned, or I was told that I cannot speak, or I was told to be quiet. And what's really ironic is they had found her body and she had a matching tattoo on her finger. It was very similar to David's tattoo that says, shh, be quiet, like, shh, you know. And so I thought that was so interesting because immediately when I saw her in my dream and in the photo, I had this impression of like, I'm not in control, and he's in control. And that kind of struck me as some kind of like feeling of like, I'm being forced or told how to live, what to do, how to be, that type of thing. And then I immediately heard Spirit say to me in my ear, these are my guides, that said, I've been bought. So I don't know what that means. If I've been trafficked, if I've been, or I was misled and I was contracted into this, whether this was through a binding of like an energetic soul contract, or this is a contract through money. But I do believe, from what I understand, is they were saying, or they've said in the news, that at the time when he met her, supposedly she was either like 13 or 15 or something like this. And I do believe there is a romantic connection between these two. I do believe there was like a genuine love, more so from her to him than him to her. I think it was about like a genuine connection, but it was more about control, is what I felt. What's also really interesting is I felt that there was a love triangle. The month of August comes up, Leo season, something about the sign of Taurus, or like Taurus season between April and May. I don't know what this is. Okay. I also noticed something about the sign of Aquarius or Aquarius season. So these three durations or these signs come up around this person. And I believe that whatever happened to this girl happened inside a home. I believe it was like some kind of violent act, and it feels like it was almost ritualistic or something. I know that industry is very dark, and I don't like the feeling I get from all of this, but it feels very sinister. So I feel like there was one face I'm being shown that the way this guy was, this rapper, he has a very famous song called um, Romantic Homicide. That's, I think it came out in 2022. And it's interesting because when I saw her in the dream, I said, okay, I need to do this reading on this girl. Fine, I'll do it. You know, because I could feel like I'm being shown things. And I thought, this is why I like to record, because I often forget what I say. And so I felt that I was promised a song. And it's so weird because that song came out and supposedly it was dropped in 2022 and she was found dead in 2025. So it's like, okay, did he promise her a song like when she was still with him? Or did he promise her a song and it was about her, but she had no idea it would come down to this? And this is why I'm wondering if she was bought or her, you know, people say I sold my soul, you know, and this industry, they do ritualistic abuse. And I feel like what went on in his home was very secretive. I feel like there was somebody that was like around him. Could be like a bodyguard or a friend or someone who was always observing things going on around him. Could be someone in the industry. But I felt like there was a third party, like there was another girl involved. I'm not sure why I'm picking up on that, but he may have had another girlfriend and Celeste didn't approve. Celeste wasn't going along with that. She was in it because she really wanted him. She wanted him. He misled her. And it was kind of like, you know, one of those situations you get in and like the deeper you go, the more entrapped you feel into something. That's kind of the sense I get from this girl. And I feel like she's very disappointed or sad because I don't really feel like she wanted to put her family through this. This is the feeling I'm getting is I'm sorry. This is not had you know, I feel like she couldn't say anything. She couldn't express anything because she was told not to. There was threats. And I do feel like she was also, she shows me two phones. There's one phone, another one. I'm like, okay, is this the phone your parents gave you? And is this other phone like a phone that David gave you? But I feel like I'm looking at two phones and I have to be careful what I write in one because David could see everything. And I feel like she was trying to reach out to someone. Um, Maybe it's a girlfriend of hers. And I feel like she did, or she told somebody what was going on. And either he found out or he was, you know, starting to realize that he's losing control over her. And it was because there was a discussion or an argument between this other girl and her, or like they found out about each other and they didn't like it. Nobody wants to share David, right? So it was sort of, at least Celeste didn't, is the feeling I'm getting. And she has no choice, but I feel like she wanted out. The other thing that I find very strange about this whole entire thing is I'm wondering if someone's pregnant in this. I have to bring this up. Like maybe there was a loss of a pregnancy, or she was pregnant and she got an abortion, or it's like she was pregnant when she died. I don't know, but I get this really strange feeling about a pregnancy. I'll just throw that out there, like a child is missing. Okay. That's what I'm hearing. Child missing, baby missing, something about a baby lost in all this. Okay. I also am being shown money. She shows me a handful of money or cash. And this money feels like I'm being paid to shut up. I'm being paid to do this. I'm being paid to don't run and tell your parents everything that's going on because I'm going to get turned in. And everything was don't tell your parents, don't run home. She couldn't talk about any of this. She had to hide. And I do feel like the police are going to be looking into laptops, cell phones, and other different various types of applications that people would normally use on a daily basis, I guess. And they're going to uncover different time frames of when she was communicating. But I feel like there's a phone missing. I'll say that. Like she shows me these two phones and one is missing. So I don't know if she had a secret phone she wanted David to see. But this is what I'm feeling. I'm also going through papers. This looks like lyrics. I'm shuffling through papers. I'm looking through documents, and I'm wondering if he did a lot of writing or he did some stuff on the side. But nothing could interfere with his reputation. That's when I get into his space. His energy is like, nothing is going to interfere with my reputation or my fame. He'll do anything at all costs to be famous. And in some ways, I feel like in a way he sold his soul, but I think he bought her. Now, am I saying he just like handed cash and he bought her like as if you're buying a prostitute or something for the night? I don't want to quite say it like that. I feel like this was kind of like an agreement, but she was misled is what I'm hearing. Period. And she can't say anything because clearly she's underage, and I think he was over 18. And this is the sense I'm getting as well. So I think they had to keep this very quiet because if it got out, he could be, they could say it's rape, they can say it's human trafficking, they can say all these different things. But in that line of work and in that line of business, it comes to the music industry or the movie industry, it's very dark, it's very ritualistic, it's very like that, if you get what I'm saying. Remember, the brighter the star, the more sinister the contract, period. Okay? So what are the odds of this whole eclipse revealing that her body was dismembered in the back of this guy's car? It's not a coincidence at all, because eclipses really reveal secret things. They unravel a story. And I feel like this is Celeste's story of like what happened. I think she was under this impression that she was like David's the prize. She gets David. She gets a song written about her. She's in this young girl, like, oh, I got this guy. I'm getting away from my family and my situation. It'll be okay. I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back. That's what I keep hearing. I'm coming back. It's not a big deal. Like, I'll see my mom. But right now, this feels so good. And I was told not to say anything, and I'm trying to be loyal to show and prove my love for this person. I just want to be chosen. And so this is the feeling. I do feel her very light-hearted energy, as if like I am willing to prove this devotion to this person because I absolutely am in love with him. And I do believe she was genuinely in love with this person. I am not really sure what happened here where this new girl pops in, but she shows up more like a fire sign. She could be Leo, she could be Sag, she could be Aries, okay? And these two get into some kind of discussion. I don't know if she's someone that hung around these people, because I feel like I'm in this house and I have this whole secret life. I feel like I don't come out much. I'm ordering like takeout, Grubhub's coming to the door. And I do want to bring up alcohol, and I do want to bring up drugs. I feel like there may have been something like this involved, because I felt like right in the last recording before I filmed the second portion of it, because we didn't get 10 minutes that were missing from the other recording, I felt like at the very end I was getting dizzy. Like, I'm like, am I taking drugs, or like, did someone knock me out? But I want to bring up why I was dreaming about her last night, because she showed herself to me. And that's a little spooky, because I usually don't I'm like, whoa, that's that girl in that photo. That tripped me out. I woke up this morning like, maybe she wants me to talk about this for her mother, for her family. Because I know that she feels this sense of like remorse or sadness. Like, I didn't get this chance to have these conversations with my family. So like I said, my heart just goes out to the family. It's like, because I know that this is not what she wanted to leave behind for her family to find out. I am sensing what goes on to this home, going back to what goes on in his house, is this strange life. He has one life, or one part of himself David shows to the world. And then he has this other part of himself he shows to this, like, wherever he is in this house. Now, there's two houses. That's the message I'm getting. There's two houses. He has one house and he has another. In the last recording, I thought he had another house in Brooklyn or something, and my co-host said, no, he's from Brooklyn or somewhere in New York, right? Because I said, why does Texas come up around this guy? Supposedly David is from Texas, okay? I do feel like there's another home that he may have, and they're going to find tapes. They're going to look at footage. There's something about her clothes that really stands out to me. The tattoo stands out to me. Something about jewelry or something like this that is very specific with her, that has an energetic signature. I feel like it's carrying weight to me. And something about her clothes, and all the way down to her socks and shoes. I find this very specific with her. including a piece of her hair, which I find very strange. Maybe he has a souvenir of hers, her shoes, her clothes, her hair. Something feels sinister here, like as if like I'm not emotionally attached to this. I'm away from this. I know what happened, but therefore, if as long as I'm detached from this, I'm not a part of this. But I feel vindicated by this. Like, how can you just go on and like record and do all the things that you're doing and go on tour and knowing that this girl's missing and then your car is missing? It's just horrific. It's like, how can you not report this? And suppose I've been hearing that the family, God bless them, I mean, they've raised about, from what it says in the news, $11,000 for her funeral. And he has not once said, can I help? Can I offer? Nothing. And you know what that means? That's guilt. Guilt has a scent, and I know that he's guilty of something. Okay. But all that's left really is to prove is what was done, and they're going to find out. I'm deeply suspicious this woman was pregnant, or there's a child missing, or there was like this question mark over a baby. I just feel very inclined to say this as if like there's a child missing in this. Now, why that's being brought up, I'm like, was she pregnant? Did she have a kid? Were they hiding the baby? And then I go back to the other girl, which he had this other girlfriend or some other girl he was saying, was she pregnant? And these two girls got into a fight because I don't believe Celeste wanted to share. So I'm not sure where at some point they were at a crossroads in this relationship and they had to go their separate ways. But God forbid if she went her own way, she would reveal everything that was going on. So she shows me the second phone or some other phone. Again, I think it's missing. She might have been trying to reach out to a friend because she can't tell her family because the family's already called the police looking for her, which I believe she's aware of. Okay. I mean, this girl's not dumb. And so knowing this, it's like she's panicked, like, okay, what do I do now? Where do I go at this point? I can't tell my mother what's going on because it's like, can you imagine being that age and going, what am I going to tell my parents? I'm going to break my mother's heart. I've already broken it once. I'm not home. And I'm going to break it even more. And then she's going to find out all of this. But I believe she was made threats. And I believe that he even threatened to harm her family. Or he might have said, hey, I'm going to something, you know? I would go as far as making it feel like he might have said something like that to her. Like, so she felt like, oh my God, I made this agreement. I'm way too in deep now to turn back. So that's why I keep going back to the word I've been bought or I've been sold. It almost feels like a form of trafficking, but it's not. I don't even know if there's words for that. Like, it's kind of like, yeah, like you you sign this contract and for the music industry, let's just say somebody, it's like, it feels like a contracted thing. Like, I will pay for your room and your board, but you must comply. Comply to what? I don't know. And this is where I think things get weird inside the home, where there could have been activities, activities that for her age would be completely explicit, which I would think would be like just not the things that those types of girls at that age should be doing. And he was condoning this. Okay. So she could have easily gotten him arrested. She could have called the police and saying, hey, I've been held at my will and they're raping me every night. I mean, she could have easily said these things. And I do believe at some point she wanted to say these things and she couldn't say these things. So she reached out to this quote unquote friend, this friend of hers. It's nothing to do with him. It's outside of him, just so she can figure out what to do next. And I don't know if he handed her money, because I see this like money being handed, like, here, I'm going to give you this much for you to be quiet, or I'm going to give you this much for you to, to just don't say anything. There was someone above him or around him, again, that was like a friend. This is a guy friend. It could have been his manager. It could have been someone in the music industry that had these connections and was like advising him to do certain things to get out of certain things. I also feel there are people who has seen him around. They've seen him around, okay? And they knew something about this girl. And I'm like, okay. And they show me all these different types of applications. Like, is this Instagram? I don't know. Is this WhatsApp app? I don't know. Is this like, what am I doing here? Like, I feel like, and you know how people communicate on FaceTime or they communicate on IG, and sometimes you can go on IG Live. Like, I feel like there's people that know a lot of things about him and may have been aware of her, but she's not the only one. There's another girl involved. Could have been another one too, but I'm seeing like a group of people, okay? But there's this other chick, and he goes off, he leaves, comes back, he leaves, comes back. Maybe this is all his travel stuff, maybe this is all his, I don't know what he does in that industry, okay? He might be obligated to go here, or he's got to go into the studio, he's got to do something, okay? Um I do believe that there were times where there's durations where he wasn't present, and this is where the other girl comes in. And I believe Celeste knew about this or found out, but she's like trapped, she's like stuck in this. It almost feels like a form of human trafficking, but it's not. It's so bizarre. But I'm agreeing to this, I'm compliant to this, is what I feel, because at least I get fed and I'm clothed and I get things. But I don't want my mom to find out, because if my mom finds out or my family finds out, I mean, I don't want to break their hearts any more than I already have. I know she loves her family. I know she loves her mother. I know she loves her siblings. I think there might be one or two. There's some people that really love her, and she's like, just didn't want them to know how deep this went. And I feel like she got herself entrapped in this, unfortunately. Poor thing. And this was an innocent-hearted girl who wanted David. She didn't want what came with him. I think she was flattered, but I also think she was in some ways, gaslit. Okay. She was manipulated in this. And if she said anything, he could get in trouble for rape. He can get in trouble for trafficking. He could get in trouble for having sex with an underaged girl, like a minor. He would have been in big trouble, and he knew it. That's why he wanted her to be quiet. And I believe that she was getting ready to talk, or she was getting ready to leave, or she something. And I think that there was a finding out or an exposure of some kind of secret, which would more than likely be a baby or someone's pregnant, whether it's the other girl or Celeste. I don't know. And it's like, well, what do we do now? And so there's this fight. I feel like there's this argument, and something happened inside one of these homes. He has two houses, is what they're showing me. So there was something that happened inside one of the homes, and he's very strange because I keep saying souvenirs. So it's like, what does that mean? Like, he keeps something like a souvenir, hair, shoes, clothing, jewelry, like
Well,
as
serial
if,
killers tend to keep souvenirs in weird ways.
well, whatever the hell he is, it's just a very strange, the whole thing. Because I think he was trying to paint this picture that he's the victim, whatever the hell he's telling people. He's going to continue to make himself out to be the victim, and he doesn't know anything. But this is all his dark stuff. And then I also feel this is a ritualized form of some kind of connection to music and the song, which ironically came out in 2022. Then it came out that her birthday, this song was released on a birthday, because she tells me what I picked up on is I was promised a song. I'm like, is it that song? Or did he mean another song? Because that song came out in 2022. She died in 2025. So I'm like, I'm so confused why I'm getting that impression. Maybe he promised her a song. And, but I do know that there was a genuine connection. And I do know that there was this exploration of, this sexuality with her. She was learning, she was exploring. She's a young woman. I think it's a little bit much for her age, me personally. I mean, this is none of my business, I'm just saying. But I think he was leading her down these spaces that feel a little bit like exploration, that type of stuff. And I think it was exciting. It was fun. It was promised. It was like gaslit. It was like, I promised, and then money. And then the moment she get upset, he'd give her something, buy her something. It's the same typical abuse type stuff that would come up in a relationship where, you know, narcissistic abuse or things like that. But I truly believe this was an innocent girl who got lost in this and who had one idea it was going to go one way and then it didn't. Because had she would have known it would have gone this way, she would have never gotten involved in the first place. I do believe this guy, David Anthony Burke, this fella, I feel like the rapper um, is notorious for paying people to shut up. I feel like he hands people money or offers them gifts to quiet them about his secrets. He had this whole other lifestyle that he didn't want anyone to know about. And I do believe that there's something sinister in his own contract with this music industry where he was obligated or he had to make some kind of sacrifice. And these people do this stuff. They do human sacrifices, they do child sacrifices. They're really, it gets dark in these spaces. Okay. I'm just saying, people, because like I said, the brighter the star, the more sinister the contract. So I'm wondering if he was obligated or he had to let something go to gain some more fame. And like I said, when I tapped into his energy, I was saying earlier, when I tapped into his energy, it was like nothing is going to get in my way of being a star. Nothing is going to stop me from ruining my reputation. I've worked too hard for this. And it was a very controlling feeling I was getting from his energy. And I felt that coming through when I had seen the photo of Celeste when it first came out. And I felt that when I had seen her in my dream, that there was like, I'm not in control, he's in control. So I already felt like something there. And I do want to say this before I go, and I don't want to get too gory, but I feel like an energetic weight that's going on inside my belly region where I feel pain. And I also feel pain in one of my legs, and I also feel pain in something around my throat. Like I feel like I'm being, something feels off here. So I'm going to go through the throat chakra area, want to go to the sacral and solar plexus area. I feel like someone either kicked me in, punched me, or I feel like something just being ripped of me in this area, and it's terrible. I don't even want to get into it's just awful. And something about my legs, I just find that so strange. Like my lower legs hurt, and I don't know why I'm feeling this pain down there. So whatever happened, I feel like happened. Something happened in that house, and I'm presuming it might have been the Hollywood house. They're going to uncover laptops and cell phones, and they're going to track locations, and they're going to find out, I think they may get close to this girl, this other girl in this love triangle. And they may be connecting with someone connected to Celeste, like a friend, because I do see two phones. Maybe one is missing. I'm just saying. Okay. And I don't know what happened in the first recording. I do know that there's 10 minutes missing in that first recording, and this is our second recording. Hopefully we get a clear recording here, but I do believe the spirit was interrupting that, and I'm almost curious if it was in fact Celeste's spirit trying to say something, and it shut off the recording. So it's just so interesting. But this is what I got for Celeste Rivas is her name. Went missing from Lake Elsinore in early April of 2024. Her body was later found on September 8th, 2025, near the lunar eclipse, which doesn't surprise me. But again, the month of August really stands out to me. So that's Leo season. Something about the sign of Aquarius stands out to me. Aquarius season, and something about Taurus, the sign of Taurus or Taurus season stands out to me in correlation to Miss Celeste. And, may she rest in peace. And I will send prayers for her family, who I know, and I can feel it, really love and miss her. Okay. She's a sweet soul. She really was. She just got clearly misled and very much taken advantage of. And that's what I got for this recording. Thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time.